And I want to talk to you guys about something that's very important and something that's very different. All right, and might be a little bit more of a little bit longer of a video, but it's a very important one. And there are so many times, I'm gonna actually see if I can set my phone up here. Give me half a second here. But there are so many times when I am in life and I am, whether it be at a store or maybe it's a job I'm working, but there are so many times where I'm talking to someone, having a conversation with someone, and I just see just such a lack of leadership. Let's see if I can do this. It's not the best angle, but it works. So there's so many times where I just see a lack of leadership, right? And I just see people just saying, hey, go do this, or hey, go do that. And, hey, looks like we haven't hit our goals. What can you do to hit your goals better? What are some of the things you could be doing where you can, accomplish your personal goals? All that. And don't get me wrong, a good leader should have those types of conversations. But if you want to find good employees, and not even just employees or like a business standpoint, but if you want to actually be a good leader, you have to realize a couple things. I was in the Marine Corps. I've also been in sales the last few years. I was a sales manager. I was a top seller within the nation for a company selling vacations. Did very well for myself there. What I learned though, and I've read a lot of books, right? And I've been grinding, putting my heart and soul into sales, leadership, and influence, right? And what I've learned is, and what research is showing me, is that people follow you for two things. One, for who you are, and two, what you represent. But furthermore, people don't follow you for your reasons, they follow you for theirs, right? So what does this all mean, right? What does this mean? Well, if people follow you for who you are, let's break that down. First and foremost, you gotta have a solid foundation. You have to, personally, I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, the life, and no one gets to heaven except through him. And Christ will actually help you love others, right? That is where love comes from. So first and foremost, who you are, even if you're not a Christian, you can still be a good leader. But in my opinion, the pinnacle, not even just my opinion, but a true fact, the pinnacle of leadership is having that Christ-like attitude, right? So that's number one, okay? That's for who you are. But you have to have you have to have good heart and their best intentions in mind, right? So if you show you have a good heart and you have their best intentions in mind, 9 times out of 9, you will have their attention, right? And they will be listening because you care for them. People don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. It is true every single time. So first off, good heart, good intentions. You have to have their best interests in mind, and you have to listen too. You have to actively listen. And you have to have the Christian foundation, but you have to actively listen, right? I can't just blow them off, right? I have to have that 99-1 rule, where 99% of my focus is that person in front of me that I am talking to. Like I'm talking to you guys right now. I'm not looking all over. I'm directly looking at you guys, and I'm very engaged. I'm enthusiastic. I'm talking. I have the active listening, right? That's who I am as a person. Secondly, what I represent, right? There's an accountability aspect that I see that lacking in a lot of different organizations and just around the world, right? There's a saying, I follow the people who have been where I want to go. So let's say I'm a baseball coach, but I've never played baseball in my life before. How likely is it that someone's going to listen to me? Chances are probably not very likely, right? But if I hold myself to an accountable standard, and I was on the Toronto Blue Jays, and I just crushed it, I had a great, phenomenal baseball career, and I represent success, and I have that heart intention, so who I am is solid, and all of a sudden I have that accountable nature where what I represent is getting them to where they want to go, right? Or getting them to that accountable standard I'm holding myself to. Now I have their attention. But lastly, I could be a great coach, I could have great heart, great intentions, but what if I am saying, hey, let's make it to the MLB? But that's not their goal. And their goal is, hey, I want to learn baseball just to have fun, right? You have to keep, so first off, right, is that accountable nature. You have to be, you have to have been where they want to go. But secondly, you also have to, not only that, hold on one sec, but you have to keep their goals at the center of the decision. So I'm trying to be very, I didn't map anything out, I'm just going live. But everything I'm saying is true, and this is exactly how it is broken down to a T. But secondly, you have to have Their goals, keep their goals at the center of the decision always, right? Great. Let's say they work for me and they're doing blogging. Why is it that they're doing blogging, right? Why is that important to them? Well, it's important to me because X, Y, and Z. Well, why is that important to you, right? Or a baseball coach, right? I'm coaching someone for baseball, and I say, what are your goals? Why are you looking at your baseball coaching? What put you in the market for this, And they say, well, I want to be a better baseball player. I mean, awesome. Why is that important to you? It's important to me. And then they start saying, hey, it's important to me because of the fact that I've always dreamed of being a good baseball player, and I'm not necessarily going to make it to the MLB, but I feel like there's a lot of discipline that comes into it. And it's just a fun sport. It's an American pastime. So I like the tradition. I like the fact that I can have a beer with some of my friends and just play baseball, just throw a ball around. And I don't want to suck. I want to be good, and I want to, show my other friends how to do it. Boom. That is why, right? That's their why. You have to peel back their why. It's called peeling back the onion, okay? So you have to bend where they want to go. So you have to hold yourself to that accountable standard. I'm not going to teach weightlifting. I've never done weightlifting before, right? 2, I'm going to keep their goals at the center of the decision, always. That means finding their why. Why is it important to them in the first place, right? So those 2 things. So that is what's going to allow me to then say, hey, listen, when I'm teaching you, hey, it's important that you change your swing up right here, and you squish the bug at the bottom, because that's what's going to give you more torque and more power when you're hitting this. So that way, when you're playing with your friends, you're able to hit faster and more likely to hit home runs. Boom. Now they listen to me because they know I have their best intentions in mind. They know I'm a good person. They know I have a good heart. And they know I've done it before. I have experience and expertise, and I'm that expert. And now, not only that, but now I'm keeping their goals at the center of the decision. Their why, right? And that is what is going to, as a leader, that is what is going to propel me to the top, to where people want to follow me, right? That is what's going to have, and that's really what's going to level me up. And where now all of a sudden I can tie in what my goals are with their goals, right? So if I'm running a company, I'm going to throw a couple examples out there, but this is important, right? If I'm running a company and I want someone to follow me, and they say, hey, listen, I'm interested in being a computer programmer. My whole family's computer programmers, so I'm just using that as an example. But it's also a very popular field, right? I say, okay, what is it about programming that's very important to you? Well, I like the fact that I can solve puzzles, and I like the fact that I can do X, Y, and Z, right? Great. I'm like, all right. What is it, and what is it that got you into cybersecurity in particular? Well, I like protecting. I feel like there's a lot of people that get hacked, and I've been hacked myself personally, and I don't want that to happen. And now that's their why. That's why they are a programmer. Now I want to combine my mission with theirs, right? Now this is where we get on the same page and we link, right? This is what's powerful. And now you say, hey, listen, this is my vision, right? My company, at the end of the day, we pride ourselves on giving the best service and the best quality product, and really protecting those that that maybe can't afford protection. We do it at a cheaper rate. We do it efficiently. And we have that bandwidth to really target the smaller companies that can't afford it, right? And you are a key piece of that. You can really feel good about every single day saving those businesses that could go out of business. I mean, one cyber attack, the average cyber attack costs a company $4.97 million. I don't know what the exact number is. I'm just using an example. But how many companies would go out of business if they got a $5 million cyber attack? Probably, in small companies, probably 90%. So you could feel good about this, about what you're doing. So now, boom. Now you end up having their why. You have their goals. Now you have that accountable standard. You are a leader at that point, right? So that's when they're going to start to listen to you. Now, a couple of the other things, a couple little tidbits I want to talk to you about teaching. When you teach someone, and when you are trying to give someone advice or kind of keep them on track, remember, you're always keeping their goals at the center of the decision, right? Always, always, always. But number 2, you want to find out what's important to them as people, right? Like, what do they do in their free time? What do they do in their family, right? How does it impact? How does this job tie into that, right? How can they feel good about the fact they're helping themselves? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out, hey, what do you do in your free time? What are some of the things that you do? And I'm going to tie this in a second. But let's say this guy really loves playing baseball. He's a computer programmer. I'm going to keep rolling with those analogies, right? He does cybersecurity. And he says, yeah, this is what I do. Now what I could do is when I'm teaching him something and teaching him programming, I say, hey, at the end of the day, when you're creating something, like let's say you're creating a system, you're programming a system together, you want to make sure that you're practicing good habits, because at the end of the day, you could create a bottleneck with programming by using excessive programming. Just make sure you're doing the essentials and focus on the basics. It's just like in baseball. Boom, I'm using analogies that apply to them, whatever I'm teaching. It's just like baseball. You don't want to ever, when you're super tired, you never want to sacrifice your form. Because if you go out there and do 300 swings of baseball, what's going to happen is your form is going to lack. And you're going to create bad habits, right? So it's just like computer programming, right? You create a lot more work for yourself. So that's for teaching. But number 2 is mentorship, right? So finding out what's important to them and really having those sit-down conversations is not only useful for the teaching aspect of things of, hey, this is what's going to level you up. This is how you can be a better programmer. And this, I know programming is important because X, Y, and Z, but also you could say, and I know it's important to you and your family, right? How are you and your family doing, right? And you can start to have those conversations because the fact you've connected with them on a deep and personal level. Now, it doesn't mean you talk about fishing for an hour. It doesn't mean you talk about vacations you've taken for 2 hours, right? Or delve into that. But it might be a couple minutes, right? And it might be, hey, listen, at the end of the day, I know this program is really important to you. Don't forget about why we're doing this, right? We're doing this to save the small businesses. And the work that you're doing now is meaningful. But also, at the end of the day, when we start to scale and start to grow and start to really make that, and I'm going to start paying you guys more because you're an integral part of this business and I care about you. But what would that do for your family? How many more vacations can you take? After we get this project done and we're able to get a couple more clients and scale up a little bit, and there's opportunities for promotion, right? And once you get up to that lead role and, we're able to expand a little bit, not only are we able to help more people, which is important to you, but also how many more vacations are you able to take with your family, right? What would that mean for you and your kids? How would that feel? Now you're connecting on a personal level, so you actually branch into mentorship, right? This is something that I wish that I would have done as a leader. I wish I had someone tell me this, because I had a good employee and a good friend of mine named David, rest in peace, phenomenal guy. But he was an older gentleman. He wanted to go back to England and see some of his family, and that was something that was very important to him. Why is it important to you to see your family? And he's like, well, it's important to see my family because of the fact that I haven't seen them in a long time. And there's connections and relations that are really important to me. And going to England and seeing where where I grew up is going to be an amazing feeling. And you're like, absolutely it will be. And that is what you're working towards every single day. The beautiful thing about this job is and I'm going to tie it into his goals, keeping his goals at the center of his decision. But I'm saying, hey, listen, not only are you able to, on a personal level, benefit from the commission that you're getting, every single day, when you make more and more sales, you're getting that more close to your trip to England. But also, too, how does that make other people feel? The fact you can give them the same experience. These are people, this vacation is something that saves lives. So now you're talking about the impact of his work, and you're talking about the impact of the results, right, from the seeds he's sown. Now that is someone that is going to work for you. That is someone that is going to have a passion and a drive. They're going to have a love for what they do. There's so much depression nowadays. There's so many, just so much darkness that people focus on nowadays. But if you're able to tie in and be that light to them, and you're able to really tie in and show, hey, listen, there's beauty in what we do. And you're doing that for other people, and you're doing it for yourself too. Now all of a sudden you have someone that's going to follow you for life. Now I want to talk about 2 things here. Being in leadership has a lot of responsibility, right? You've heard in Spider-Man that, with great power comes great responsibility. But it's true. At the end of the day, the Bible talks a lot about, for leading someone astray, it is better to have a millstone attached to, tied around your neck and you thrown into the depths of the ocean, right? As a leader, you have that responsibility every single day to follow through with your word. So follow through with your word, all right? Don't just say you're going to do something and not do it, right? You have to be honest, open, and transparent every single time. And you know what? If you don't know something, humility too. So honesty and humility. You have to have humility in what you do and saying, hey, listen, in all honesty, I have the humility to say that I don't know the answer for you sometimes. I'm not always going to have the answer, right? Or sometimes you're just going to have an employee that you just can't pay enough. Or you have someone that you're coaching for baseball and they've graduated past your coaching lessons. They've learned everything there is to learn. And you have to be confident in what you provide and the services you give people to where you're willing and you're okay with losing someone for them to pursue a greater opportunity. Because you're like, hey, listen, in all honesty, I appreciate the work you've done for me, and here's my vision for the company. And we could do so much more, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure if this is the right fit for you forever. I would love for you to work for my team forever. I would love it. And if it's worth it for you to stay and work for me and keep doing the good work we do, for a little bit less, and I completely understand, and I think that would be awesome. But you know what? If you want to go your own way, that would be awesome too. That is what true love is, right? So now all of a sudden, you are going to be an inspiration to them for life. All right? It's not just about the transactional, hey, go do this, go do that. But if you could do this every single time to whoever you meet, I promise you your leadership skills are going to reach levels you've never even dreamed of before. And this is what is going to change your life and other people's lives forever. Having this ability, having this ability and this realness, this kind of this authenticity, right? And just being that good person that someone can really feel confident, right? That is what's going to level up your leadership skills. So all in all, it's about people follow you for who you are and what you represent, right? It's about teaching. It's about mentorship. It's about honesty, openness, and transparency and humility, right? If you combine all of these things, and then my last piece on this is you have to, you don't always have to know the answers to things. You can always pray to God for them. And, that's what everybody should be doing. We don't do it enough. But, if you don't know something, ask God, hey, listen, I need help. I need help, man. I want to work hard every single day and learn this, but please help me, right? So as leaders, we get our strength from the Lord. So that is something that is key and important. Last piece on this is, in order for some people to respect you, you have to lead from the front. And this is kind of my last piece on things. But you have something called shared suffering. Okay, shared suffering, and what this is, shared suffering is when you go through if you ask your men to do something, or you ask if your women or whatever, if you ask your people to do something for you, you need to be willing to do the same thing with them, right? And if you can't, say, hey, listen, I am here to support you in any way I can. I have leadership things to do. I have responsibilities to take care of. I have things that, I wish there was a little bit automated for me so I could lead from the front more, but I'm going to help you as much as I can, right? You have to lead from the front. If you're leading a sales team, you have to be selling as well, right? Because people look up to you, and you have that weight on your shoulders every single day. Now, granted, you have two options here. In the Bible, it talks about, hey, for those of you who are weary, take on my yoke. It's easy, it is light. I'll help you out through it. So get your strength in the Lord, but lead from the front. If you're going to ask someone to do something, you better be doing it too. Right? Because at the end of the day, as soon as you stop trying and as soon as they see that you're asking way more of them than you're doing yourself, you lose their permission to lead you. People follow you for their reasons, not your own. So when you tie in the accountability nature, right? The accountability aspect of things, and you grind hard every single day, they're going to want to put in the same work too. Okay, so this is a video on leadership, very important here. I guarantee you're not going to find very much like this on YouTube. I've kind of made an amalgamation of everything that I've learned, from reading the Bible, even though I wish I was more well versed literally on it. But reading the Bible, a lot of prayer, a lot of learning from great leaders, and reading books, and then also learning from bad leaders too. And if people were to do this every single day in their lives, it doesn't matter if you're a baseball coach, doesn't matter if you're a computer programmer, doesn't matter if you're a bricklayer, doesn't matter what you do. But if you do this every single day, people will follow you. and you will live a life beyond belief. So holding yourself to that accountable standard every single day. Last thing I want to talk about is drive. I know I said last thing before, but seriously, drive. How do you get that? How do you get that? How do you get to that point, right? How do you get to that point to where you've been where people want to go? How do you get to that point where you close the knowledge gap? You say, hey, listen, I don't know how to do this. I want to be that leader. I want to work up the leadership position. How do I get there? Right? So how do you get to even using these? Well, first and foremost, you could be a leader no matter what position you are. You don't have to be a manager. You don't have to be anything like that. You know, in fact, the greatest leaders oftentimes are people that don't have a title. They're people that just genuinely care for others and do the principles that I've shared here with you. So you don't need a title. The other thing is there's a quick story. In the 1200s, there was 3 builders. There was a guy kind of talking to these builders, and they're bricklayers. And so the guy asked the first bricklayer, he's like, what do you do for a living? He says, I lay bricks for a living. Okay. And so he asks the second guy, what do you do for a living? He's like, I build churches. The third guy he asks, he says, what do you do for a living? He says, I build churches so that families can come in here every week and glorify God. The first one has a job, right? Just the bricklayer. I lay bricks for a living. Second one has a career when he says, hey, I build churches so people can glorify God. The third one, he has a calling. He has a calling. And that is what's going to propel him every single day to do this best work, because he knows he's doing something greater. So it doesn't matter if you have a leadership position or not. But if you have this calling and you have this passion, this drive for doing this every single day, you will get to where you want to go. And then also, too, with everything else that I've talked about, that's where you're going to take the mantle of leadership and lead with humility and with people's best intentions in mind. And that is also how you get people to, people you don't know. That's how you get people, that's how you build lasting relationships. That's how you build friendships. So anyways, this has been my video on leadership. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down below, seriously. I'm very open to hearing what you guys have to say. I love the fact that I'm able to talk with you guys for a little bit. One of my things, I'm always on the move. It's kind of unfortunate. I wish I had kind of a better recording studio, or I could edit the fancy videos like everyone else is doing. But at the end of the day, I'm working a couple things. Oh, what's up, Nooch Smooch? How's it going, dude? Yeah, yeah. What's up, man? Just doing a quick live video on leadership. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your comments down below. This has been my video on leadership. And if you guys do these things, it's truly life-changing. Oh, heck yeah. Hey, hit me up. But I'm going to end the video real quick. Yeah, Lemon SMP. Dude, you got my Discord, right, Professor Gaines? Hopefully. Hopefully I wasn't. Oh, bet. It's Alex, right? I think you've changed usernames from before. I could be totally wrong. Dude, I knew it, dude. I knew it. I was like, dude, heck yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man, let's definitely catch up a little bit. I just dropped a video on leadership. If you want to rewatch the live, it's great. But this is life-changing advice. But anyways, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Alex. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And yeah, I'll have the video posted. I'm also dropping a new series on becoming a person of influence as well. So kind of leveling up your people skills, having a good life in general, and kind of having a good perspective. But if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to be dropping new videos. I'm going to be dropping a lot of them this week. Whenever I have time this week, I have about 60 videos that I have filmed that are ready to go that I'm just going to roll out. But it's truly life-changing. But anyways, hey, Alex, hit me up, dude. Good to hear from you, dude. Seriously. Oh, shoot. Dropped my phone. But anyways, hope you guys are having an amazing day. It's Sunday fun day. Go out, enjoy the weather wherever you guys are. Do something fun. And God bless.